our interview of the day, which is a friend of mine, a musician, a speaker, and I'm so happy to have him here today. Dana Agnellini is a singer-songwriter and a speaker. I know him for many, many years, and I'm so glad that he is sharing with us some of his inspirational stories and some of his inspirational music. So without further ado, let me introduce Dana Agnellini. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Sabina, how are you? I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're so very welcome. So Dana, how did you get started as a musician, as a singer-songwriter? Did it come from a decision that you made early on or later in life? So share with us.
It's been a long evolution. Actually, I picked up the guitar as a teenager just as a way to meet girls. That was my primary motivation. I never thought I'd be an inspirational singer-songwriter. I just thought I'd be the cool guy with the guitar. And it worked, so I kept playing. So that was my original inspiration. But to be serious, I started writing songs when I was young. I really did want to be a songwriter at that stage. I was always very influenced by Bruce Springsteen. I grew up in New Jersey, and Springsteen to me is just a great songwriter. So I was inspired by that art form, and I really tried to emulate that. But in those days, I was really trying too hard to fit a formula. I was trying to write radio type songs and country song. You know, I really wasn't being my authentic self. I was just using my talent I guess in a small way and trying to fit my heart into a very small box. And it kind of didn't work very well, although I had a lot of fun with it. And some people say, oh, those songs weren't that bad. When I listen to them now, I say, oh no. Example, one of them was called Wiggle Watching. Now think about how bad that is. So it really took me many years. I put the guitar down for probably a couple decades. It wasn't until I was married with kids again, and I first went to Unity Church in Savannah, Georgia, that I was really inspired. And the church felt like coming home. The people there were so genuine and so nice. And I noticed that they were open to singer-songwriters that would share their own original music. And I thought, wow, that's wonderful. I grew up in a Catholic church. You don't see that in a Catholic church. So I thought, I can do this. And the minute I thought that I might share my heart and really begin to share quality music of things that are really important to me, spiritual things, that's when the music really started getting good. It's because I had the technical aspects down. I knew how to put chord progressions together and create melodies and bridges and choruses and all that. But I really needed the inspiration to create music that mattered. And that provided me with the platform to do that. And I've been doing it ever since. It's been, that was in the early 90s. So it's been a long time that I've been writing this kind of music. And it's been an inspiration for me as well as for others. So it's been a joyful experience.
Well, wonderful. Well, we're glad that you did this. And I remember when you came to Fredericksburg, how we became friends. Because our minister back then said, oh, there is a new member here and he plays the guitar. So meet with him. And we did. And the rest is history, as they say, right?
You bet. Yep.
Yeah. So, and you also are a speaker. So you are doing some talks now as well. Is that right?
Yeah, I've been doing talks for quite a while. I started doing the music in the early 90s. I started writing and performing for various Unity churches. But it came to the point where the music was, I loved doing it, but it just didn't feel like enough for me. It felt like there was more of a message that I needed to share. And every song really has a story. Every song has a background. And the majority of my songs have really pretty intense spiritual content that you could really elaborate on. So I was given an opportunity in around 2004, 2005, when we were between ministers and we were looking for speakers. I was given an opportunity, despite the fact that I was terrified because it was not my comfort zone. I said yes. And it quickly became my comfort zone. It was a perfect situation for me to share my heart, share whatever wisdom I've generated through the years, share whatever music that has come to me, and put it all in a package that really works. Music gets in the back door and opens up the heart, so that the message is even easier to receive. And I've had so much great feedback. I've had so many different situations where people come to me afterwards and share some really, really personal stories of growth and acceptance and forgiveness. And that's what makes me know I'm on the right path.
I can hear you. And I know that one of the songs that you wrote called I Am Enough. And this is a song with a great message. How did you decide to write the song? How does that came about?
You know, it's funny. That song was, that opportunity was offered to me at midnight. Truthfully speaking, my ex-wife, Christine, who was doing the talk the next Sunday, it was a talk title called I Am Enough. And I was doing the music and she said, I just need a song to really support this message. I just keep feeling that there's an important song to support this message. Can you write it? And I said, well, no, I can't write it because it's midnight. But then of course I did. It happened very quickly. The download happened very quickly. And I never thought again about it. I thought it was just a quick little song that I wrote for the service, and it very quickly became one of my most popular songs. And I've even made a video of it recently. And it's the song that people really like because it makes you feel good. It makes you feel, it takes away all those stories that you tell yourself about how you're not enough. And it literally, if you listen to this song long enough, you really begin to believe that you genuinely are enough. And I love seeing that transformation in people. And it ministers to me too. When I need that message, I listen to it myself. Because we all, we're all human.
Peace right now, I am that one with my source. No time for fear right now, I'm happy on my course. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. I am whole, I am complete. I've got everything I need. I am enough. I release and I let go. Troubles at your door. I've got everything I need, and each day I'm blessed with more. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. I am whole, I am complete. I've got everything I need. I am enough. To be of service to your plan. Use me any way you like, I'll do anything I can. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. I am whole, I am complete. I've got everything I need. I am enough. I am whole, I am complete. I've got everything I need. I am enough.
Came to you at midnight and you had to write it. I know sometimes that's when the best songs come about, right? I remember the first song that I wrote for church when I was the music minister there was, I usually pulled some songs from even musicals because that was my background. So like climb every mountain from the sound of music, right? But then the talk title from Trisha was The Game of Life, because it was right on Super Bowl Sunday. And so I said, I don't know any songs unless, it's like, take me out to the ball game. And then I felt the calling, I have to write a song. And so I started sitting on the piano, and I'm not a piano player. Okay. But I can, I'm a voice teacher. That's how I use the piano. But all of a sudden things are starting to happen. And that's how I wrote my first song called The Game of Life.
Yeah.
That's
great. It's a
magic
great
happens.
song too. That's a great song. And those that are able to just quickly move with the flow of life are always find themselves coming back more quickly and having more peace through the process. And those that are resistant to those experiences and resistant to life in general usually take those experiences the hardest and get really pummeled by the waves of change. So really see the blessing in everything and go with the flow. That would be my message to everyone out there who cares to hear what I have to say.
The ones who wanted to listen, they do care, and they're grateful. That means being in the flow. And right. I like this analysis, being in the flow, being in the moment, because that's the only way that we have power over our lives. Being in the moment and not looking into the past, because we cannot change anything in the past, and we don't have power in the future. We only have power now, and we have a choice. We can either let fear overwhelm us, or we can step out and say, I am creating my own economy. I am creating my own happiness. I am creating my own health. Everything that I can do starting today. And this is the only way that we have power. So I believe many people want to do this, but they don't sometimes know how. And obviously there is a long list of what you can do, but there is one simple solution. You want to hear it?
I do.
And sometimes the simplest things can get you going. And that is this. If you just remember one thing, where your focus goes, energy flows. So if your focus is on, negativity, your focus is on the news 24/7, your focus is on how bad everything is, your focus is on, oh my God, maybe I'll get sick, your focus is on all those things, then that's where your energy goes, and that's what you attract in your life. And just if you're thinking about a situation in your life where you were like, oh my gosh, I don't feel, this is so bad, and how does it make you feel? Look, you even just talking about it, my body goes in this kind of retraction mode. But when you switch your thoughts and think about the wonderful things that have happened in your life, that are in your life right now, the wealth that is in your life, and you create the outcomes that you want to have in advance, all right, in your mind, because your subconscious mind does not know the difference between something that's real or not. But if you create your thoughts in advance, you know what's going to happen? You feel good about it. And when you feel good, you stand up taller and you're more excited about it. All right. Yeah. So it's up to us. It's up to you, to me, to make the decision how you want to feel. And that is the big difference. So the one simplest thing that you can do, anyone can do, no one outside of you has control over it. Not the government, not the doctors, not the friend, not the family, no one. It's you. What you focus on expands, and that's where the energy flows. So that's my number one tip. Yeah, you got it.
That's a great one, Sabina. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Which is why gratitude is such a key to joy in life, because you're focusing on all the wonderful things about your life.
Absolutely. So,
and then you end up getting more of them.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's the attraction, law of attraction.
Yeah.
So I hope this was an inspirational message for you guys. I hope this was something that helped you to, even if it's just a thought or thinking about, oh, I never thought about this way, to get you going in a positive way. I hope this inspired you, this Sunday message, so to speak. And as far as the music goes, I will put it at the end one more time so you can see it and have it in a very good quality. All right, Dana, thank you
One
so much. Yeah.
Let me share one last thing. I want
Yeah.
everybody to get a free gift. You probably know the story of Angels Among Us. I sang the song Angels Among Us at our church one time, and Irene Myers came to me, a member of our church, and she literally gave me a check for $500. She was in tears. And she said, you really have to start recording your music. It really needs to go beyond these four walls. And that was the seed money, really, that's when I began recording, and now I have 3 CDs as a result of just that start. So I want to offer everyone that song for free.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
thank you, thank you.
Yeah, so all you have to do is go to my website and you're able to click on it and get that download for free.
Oh, by
And
the way, I wanted to let you know, Dana, I'm having a resource guide,
yeah,
so for everybody, and they can download it at the end of the challenge. So I definitely put your information on there. So if they don't see it now, it will be in the resource guide, and so they can get ahead
fantastic.
and get that.
Thank you, Sabina.
You're very welcome. And you know, it's interesting that you said that about how things get started. When you are grateful, when you are on the right path, things are coming to you.
Yeah,
And you know, actually you were the one who got me started to record my first CD.
I remember. Yeah,
You know, because so people started, when I started writing my music, and people start coming to me, oh, Sabina, where can I get the music? I love your songs, I love your music. And I didn't have a CD. And
right,
back in the days, I mean, it's now like what, 14 years ago, 15 years ago, it was not as easy as it is now to record, and everything is
right,
digital. We actually had to go to a recording studio if you want to have a
right.
good quality. So as I, oh, and I got that calling, right? And well, one more inspirational story. Why not, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was at a retreat. It was for singer-songwriters, and I was so scared to get in. We were there together,
We were
actually.
there together. I remember.
Oh my gosh, look at
I
this.
remember you were shivering.
I was.
Never seen you like that.
You know, the funny thing is, I have no problem whatsoever to perform, because I was a musical theater performer for years. I was performing in shows like Les Miserables in Vienna, and in front of 1,500 audiences. I wasn't afraid. But there was 100 people about. We were in this conference. It was on the stage, and there were some singer-songwriters. But, you know, I felt I was not enough. So I had my guitar that I didn't play for like 20 years, but I just came back from Germany to get it, and I started playing again. But most importantly is, when you start playing your own music, you're vulnerable because you open yourself up. And I remember there was this spirit sharing. So you put your name in the basket, and when your name is pulled, you can go on stage. So I did that. And then here we are. It was the first night. And I believe you went up the first night, but my name wasn't pulled. And I said, I felt a relief. Can you believe it? You should be happy to have the chance, right? So the next day, then there were those great performers like Karen.
Drucker.
Yes. And
Yeah.
then also Greg Temlin, right?
Right.
The
Yeah.
wonderful Greg Temlin. And they had a wonderful performance. And then Greg finished up with the round, the heart of the mother. Oh my gosh. So we all participated, we sang, and that raised our vibration, our energy. We all held hands, and
Yeah.
they made an announcement that night. It said, everybody who didn't get the chance yesterday will get a chance today. And I was like, oh, but after we doing this song, you know, my higher self talked to me and said, Sabine, if you don't do it now in front of all these wonderful musicians, you will never do it. And then I said, what the heck? So my name was called. I got on stage with my guitar. I know I had the long skirt. I remember, so you have those moments where you still remember. I had the long skirt and everything. And then I just allowed myself to be me. And I shared my story, how I just picked up the guitar again from my dad's attic. And I just wrote the song. It's called I Am. And I ask anybody, please, it's very easy to sing along. If you could, can you please? And, you know, it's harmonies. You can do whatever. So then I started playing. And then magic started to happen, Dana. And I know you remember it because you
I do remember very well.
I mean, I was transformed. And the people started singing along just in the chorus. And harmonies like I've never heard before. 100 musicians, it was magic.
Yeah.
But most importantly is why I'm sharing it, because we talked about today not being enough. I felt called. And then the next day, you know, or that evening, people came to me and said, please continue making music. That was so much fun. And I got all those people who came to me. And then the next day, before we all left, there was a labyrinth walk right in front of the main hall. And I did that walk and I asked Spirit, what's mine to do? And then very, very clearly he said, what? You gotta do a CD. And that same afternoon, I just took a walk around the grounds of Unity Village. And that's when my cover song, The Bigger Picture, was created.
Mm-hmm.
Just in my head. I didn't have a guitar. I didn't have anything. I just had a little recorder so I wouldn't forget. But it was downloaded. I just downloaded from the creator, the chorus and the first verse. So that's the power of stepping in. And that's when I came to you, said, Dana, I have to write that CD. I have to do the CD. How did you get started?
Yeah. I remember that well. That was a great time for both of us, really. I remember it. We were in that area. We were both buds that were just waiting to bloom.
Yes.
And it was nice expansion for both of us, and a lot's come from that.
Yeah. So tell me, Dana, what did you get out of that convention, that music convention that we were on? Anything?
Well, I'll never forget that song, that Heart of the Mother song, that Greg Tamlin did. I'll never forget that as long as I live, because there were probably 150 really talented musicians there singing all in harmony together. And I've never felt this before, and I've never felt it since. But it actually felt almost like our energy was so high that we lifted. Yeah. Do you remember that feeling?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my hands were tingling, and I mean, I was like, yeah.
It absolutely felt like a levitation feeling, and it's crazy to even say it, but when we started communicating with other people, they all felt the same thing, and that was confirmation that, you know, there was some transformative energy moving that day, that whole week. There was transformative energy in that, and that was like a focal point for that moment. And I remember your experience beautifully too, and I know that vulnerability. You know, you could be in Les Miserables and be a character, but it's completely different than just being Sabina on a stage with just a guitar. And I know that feeling, and I've had that feeling many times, where you are very vulnerable and you're exposing your heart, you're exposing your soul. But the paradox of all that is that the more that you expose of your heart and soul, the better everyone loves it. Because that's what the experience really is. It's transferring your heart to others so that they can actually feel what you're feeling. You're transferring an emotion, and that they're conjoining with your emotion at the same time. And that's the beauty of this art form, is that if you do it well, you're really creating a unified energy field with the audience. It doesn't matter if it's 2 people or 200.
Right.
I've had some of the most powerful nights with just, 6 or 8 people in the room. It's really not a numbers game. It's just a matter of how open the hearts are and how deep you're able to go with your emotions and how much you're willing to be vulnerable and expose yourself. So that's, and especially in front of other musicians who are technically proficient and really, really good. It's easy to feel not enough in that room.
Yes.
These are some of the best musicians I've ever met. And I remember that same feeling when we went down to Nashville and recorded. I remember the very first time we got all the tracks down for my first song, and these guys were so good. The music that they put down was so incredibly good that I was intimidated. I thought to myself, oh my God, I'm going to be the worst thing on my own CD. I can't let that happen. I have to really step up. And the very first time I got in the booth and sang, I put my heart and soul into it, and I'm singing my heart out. And the engineer, he just looked at me, and I'm looking at him for some feedback, and he said, "Can you hear yourself okay?" And that's when I realized, oh boy, I have to really step up my game. I have to tighten up my pitch, and I have to really, really step up to a level of musicianship that I had never been challenged to step up to before. And I did. And my goal when I asked them to record me, I said, I want you to do what you do, but I don't want so many tricks and gadgets and so much adjustment. I don't want to be a disappointment when I perform live. I want to be able to reproduce my music live and not be a disappointment. And so that's what we did. We kept it nice and clean and kept it genuine to me. I'm not going to say we didn't correct a few notes here and there, but it was very, very clean. And that's the way I wanted it. It wasn't, because they can do a lot of things. They can work magic, and I didn't want.
And I remember the CD, the first CD, when you brought it and I listened to it. It was amazing. I really, really liked your music, and I like your music, but liked that CD when I listened to it. And there is some magic when you hear the music come to life for the first time.
Yeah.
And I remember when I went to the same studio than you did. And, I sent them a demo recording. And then I went there, and those musicians are absolutely amazing. But for me, the most magical time was hearing for the first time what was in my head.
Yeah.
Being played by the musicians.
Yeah.
Wasn't that an amazing experience?
That was magical. And I gave them a lot of creative freedom. Mm-hmm. I didn't try to micromanage it because they were so good. But it's amazing that even with all that creative freedom, they brought this vision to life without a whole lot of direction. It just happened. And I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
That's what I had too. They made it happen. I just told them, okay, I want to have this kind of feeling. I want to have, what the tempo is going to really move forward, or the feeling of, being on vacation, like the Caribbean feeling and stuff. And they brought it to life like that.
Yes.
But here's one other thing I wanted to share with you. And this is, I think, what I invite everybody to do. Think of a moment in time where you felt absolutely like elevated, like that one time, or just like almost an out-of-body experience. That is usually an indication that you're on the right path to whatever path it looks like, right? Mm-hmm. So when I came to listen to the first mix, so you do the recording, first the music, the scratch track, and then you do your own vocal recordings. And I did all my backgrounds too, so all in one day. And I was sick and didn't care. You paid for it, you get it done, right? But the most magical part was when I came a day later, and the person who was mixing it all together hit play, and I heard the song mixed with my voice, with the music, and I I was
Yeah.
blown away. That was another feeling that I never forget.
Yeah. Same.
Same?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was, wow, this is just, this happening. And not only is it happening, but the quality is really exceeding my expectations.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
oh, that's so wonderful. And, you know, no matter what it is for you guys out who are listening to this recording, it doesn't have to be music, but what we are showing here is just an example, because both of us, we are musicians and performers and speakers, and what helped us in the process, because it's not something that happened overnight. It really is a process. And wherever you are right now, my friends, it is very important to understand the process of being in the flow, the process of, okay, the decision that I am using my gifts and talents given to me by the Creator, recognizing them, and then make a decision to use them. And then not being discouraged if something's not happening within the next 2 days or 2 weeks or even 2 years. You got to commit to the process, meaning you got to learn skills, keep on perfecting, keep on getting better and better and better. And then things will start to happen. Things will start to come together. But most importantly, always, always remember that you are enough. Everything is already within, all right? And there's nothing missing. And that's another thing. People think, oh, there's something missing. There's nothing missing. You know, to 99.95%, when you have a baby, a toddler, learning how to walk, you know, and it doesn't happen, you know, in the next couple of days, you don't say, well, now stop now, right? No, they try as long as it takes to walk. And for some of you, it takes longer. And it took a long time for me, to tell you the truth. It took a long time for me to really step in fully in my power. And it went in stages. It went in stages from being an actress. And even then, I had to step into the next stage of becoming the next level actors. And then the next stage of becoming a director. And then the next stage of becoming a business owner. And then the next stage of becoming a coach and a singer-songwriter. And, you know, where I am right now, it's all in stages. And the good thing is, your Creator doesn't give you something you cannot handle. He may, or she may, give you challenges along the way. Not may, definitely does. But you get it to grow. And so don't give up. Never, ever give up. Winners never quit, and quitters never win. That was my mantra that I always said: don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. And Dana, I believe you know me now for some time, right?
I do. I've known you for almost 20 years.
Wow, 20
Yeah.
years. You've seen my growth as well.
I have. We've stood witness to each other's growth, and it's been really nice.
Yes, it is. And same here to you. And I'm so glad that we are on this path together. And I know there still will come wonderful things sometime in the future. I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but it's probably in the making.
You bet. You bet it is.
Dana Agnellini, I am so happy that I had you as my guest today. And I am so grateful for all the things that you've done in the past, and for all the things that you will do in the future to help others grow, inspire, and expand. And I want to say thank you. And to all the listeners, we will have some free music for you that you can download wherever you're going to find it at the end. But if you have a question, you know how to find me, you know how to find Dana. But for now, I say thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. if you see it on a video. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is this. Always remember to follow your dreams, serve from the heart, and live the life you imagine. Live with passion.
Thank you, Sabina.